Hello and welcome to another episode of Scott Reads Comics. Today I thought I'd do something a little different. I was in the Pittsburgh Strip District area this morning and visited Ides Comics and Records, one of the most famous and august comic stores in the whole country. And they have a huge dollar bin selection there. So I only had about 20 or 30 minutes. So I did about 20, 30 minutes of dollar bin diving there. And I thought just for a kind of a change of pace, I would just share a little bit about what I picked up in this particular trip and talk a little bit about why I grabbed it, why I thought it might be good fodder for the show at some later point. So I picked up a total of 5 comics from the dollar bin in my limited time, and I also grabbed one comic from the regular back issue stock that they have there, which is also excellent and extremely deep. So we'll just start out and take them one at a time here. So from the DC selection, now Ides in downtown Pittsburgh / the Strip District is unique because their vast dollar bin collection is separated by companies, which is kind of nice. So while there is some cross contamination, there's a bunch of DC drawers and there's a bunch of Marvel drawers. So I found this one in the DC drawers. It's a DC Comics Presents number 52, featuring Superman and the new Doom Patrol. I thought this one was cool for a couple of reasons. I've always loved the new Doom Patrol characters: Negative Woman, Tempest, Robot Man, and Celsius. And this issue not only features a cover by Keith Giffen, but also excellent interiors by Keith Giffen and inker Sal Trapani. So I thought this one would be great to go through in detail at some later point. You can see Ambush Bugs in here as well, which is a Giffen character. Let me check quickly and see when this was. So this was published in 1982. So I would have seen this on the rack, but I never picked it up. I wasn't a big Superman fan, never really have been. There have been selected stories that I've followed closely, obviously, but this would have probably been the best Superman title to pick up at the time because it was essentially the team-up book. But I missed this one and love this Giffen artwork, so crisp. Sort of in his, like I've said before about Giffen, this is sort of pre-transitional period. This probably would have been done right before the time that he took over Legion of Superheroes, or maybe right around the same time. But just tremendous artwork here and plenty of story to bite into from writer Paul Kupperberg, who is a longtime Doom Patrol aficionado, and he would go on to write the Revival series featuring these characters actually in this story. So pretty cool story that looks like it might feature the Metropolis version of the Macy's Day Parade, because I see a lot of floats here and things like that. So very cool bit of DC action here that we're going to get into. Great shot here of Robot Man punching Ambush Bug out. Very cool issue. Would like to cover it and probably will at some point on the show. Next up, I'll take these in order. I grabbed 3 issues of Avengers, starting with issue 222. And this one is in really nice shape for a dollar bin book of this age. This one was published also in 1982. 60-cent price tag gives it away. Superb cover by Greg LaRocque and Al Milgrom here. This is the Egghead incarnation of the Masters of Evil. Great storyline shortly after She-Hulk joins the book. This is a fun 6 Avenger team here. This team that was together for quite some time with a few little adjustments here and there. Captain Marvel was eventually, the Monica Rambeau character will eventually join in 227. But yeah, the interior here is Jim Shooter plot, Stephen Grant script, but more importantly, it's some early Greg LaRocque penciling and with excellent Brett Breeding inks. And the art in this is just superb, Marvel House style stuff. Just really, really good. Solid fight choreography. Great personal interactions here. The early friction between She-Hulk and Hawkeye is just priceless. Really good stuff. And the plot building toward, now at this point, Henry Pym is in prison for his misdeeds after his breakdown. So the plot leading up to Egghead freeing him from prison, and everything that goes into that is those seeds are being planted in this issue. Great Tiger Shark. This is a cool incarnation of the Masters of Evil with Moonstone, Tiger Shark, Whirlwind, Scorpion, who you don't really think of as an Avengers villain, but in this incarnation of the Masters of Evil, he certainly was. So very cool. And Whirlwind just cannot leave the Wasp alone. Gets the whole new Masters of Evil team in trouble. They show up to bail him out. Some great fight sequences here. Thor shows up on scene to help out. And here, a great shot of Scorpion swatting him with his tail. Very cool. She-Hulk bursts out to get involved in the fight, but she's dressed in this high fashion outfit that the Wasp picked out for her. And so the Wasp says, you can't go into battle with that on. So She-Hulk has to take some time to actually strip down to go into battle. And the great sequence here with Tiger Shark throwing the limo at Thor. Man, Thor takes it on the chin a bit in this fight. But here She-Hulk comes to bail them out. And Hawkeye takes out Whirlwind. It's just a great 6-7 page superhero fracas here. Very cool. Great issue. Well worth covering in a later episode in a little more detail. Following on that, right next to it in the dollar bin was issue 230. And that is actually the end of the Yellow Jacket saga. And this one has that same team, basically that same team formation. And with Roger Stern now as the regular writer, and Al Milgram's a penciler, and with very slick Joe Sinnott inks. I really think this is the best Al Milgram's art has ever looked, in my opinion. Maybe some early issues of Captain Marvel that he drew after Jim Starlin left were of this quality, but Sinnott's finishes on Milgram's pencils really just smooth them out and make them look very tight and flow very well. So this actually is the conclusion of the Yellow Jacket saga, Hank Pym Yellow Jacket saga, and it's very bittersweet. It's very well done. Now, it's a problematic story. I do understand that. I mean, Yellow Jacket had his breakdown. Hank Pym had his breakdown. He struck the Wasp. It's terrible, obviously. Domestic violence is terrible. But the character goes through somewhat of a reclamation in this storyline, and here is kind of the end of that, where he has to go back and say a final goodbye to his Avengers team and his now estranged and soon-to-be ex-wife, Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp. And it's pretty tragic, pretty sad, but also it's a fitting bit of closure for the Hank Pym character as he leaves. And there is the brief trial of Hawkeye as he seemingly killed Egghead in issue 229. This is a great scene here too. I love it. The briefcase with the old Yellow Jacket outfit in it, very cool. Just really nice penciling and inking here from Milgram and Sinnott. Great stuff. And a fitting end for the time being to the Hank Pym Yellow Jacket storyline, and very, very sad, bittersweet. So great issue, also in nice shape for the dollar bin. Very cool. And of course, right next to that, I find Avengers 231, which is the next issue, obviously, after 230. This one significantly more beat up, but still worth it for $1. Looks like somebody chewed on this end of the cover here. This is, again, the Stern, Milgram, Sinnott team here. And we've got some very cool action. We're gonna be facing off with the Plant Man in this one. And a great sequence here at a funeral for Jocasta, the robot. So she passed away in Marvel 2 in 193. So they're actually having another sad and classy moment for the Avengers where they have a funeral for their erstwhile teammate. She was never officially an Avenger, but she certainly deserved that status, and she would have gotten that status. I always thought she was done dirty in that storyline. She would have been a great regular Avenger. Just very cool power set and an interesting character. And I would have loved to see her in the Avengers full time as a member. So, yeah, this is more great. Stern is building his run now. These are the early issues of the Stern run, and he's just, with each story, just building this growing continuity with the help of Milgrom and Sinnott on the art chores. And Plant Man is the foe in this one. And we have the introduction of Star Fox / Arrows from Titan. So he is a Titanian Eternal, pretty powerful in his own right, and he's seeking adventure, seeks to join the Avengers. We noticed a sequence in the previous issue where they visited, here he is here, chafing because Captain Marvel has died recently, and he had agreed to kind of keep Captain Marvel's old Flame company, but she gives him leave to wander, and so he does. So Elysius is her name. So yeah, so here he is. He's going to be joining the Avengers in 232. That would be a great one to cover too if I ever come across it. But yeah, here's the Sam Smithers Plant Man in a pretty classic outfit. Not his oldest one, which I actually like the other one better, but this one's kind of cool too. The one where he was working with Nefaria, he had like a full face mask and a little gun, and was kind of a little creepier looking. But this one's neat too, in its own way. So yeah, cool giant plant dude fighting them. Love this close-up on She-Hulk here with Milgrom Sinnott art. They just do a great She-Hulk. And this is awesome here. She gets tromped, she gets stepped on, but she's so powerful she's able to lift the beast's foot up, and with Thor's help she topples him. And then she's attacked by these smaller tree men here, which is very cool. And Star Fox shows up at the end to finish the creature off. And he's come to join the Avengers, he announces. So that would be in 232, which I did not pick up today. Finally, from the dollar bin today, I picked up this issue of the first issue of the 2007 8-issue Suicide Squad limited series. Now, I bought this when it originally came out in 2007, and since I've started back collecting comics again in 2013, I've been kind of avoiding most modern comics. I'm not a big fan of the slick paper, but I picked this up kind of for a reason, because my ultimate plan with my current Suicide Squad collection of comics is to have them bound into my own kind of bespoke bound editions of Suicide Squad that have all the letters, pages, and ads and everything else. And my wife Emma is a book artist and a book repair technician, and so I'm going to show them in the show here at some point. She's made a bunch of these bespoke graphic novels for me, and so my plan is to get the original run of Suicide Squad and Legends and Secret Origins and everything else, the crossover, the early crossover with the Justice League, into they'll probably take about 3 or 4 volumes, because she can do about 22 issues per volume, and get them all into collected volumes. And I thought I might stick these in at the end if I can get them from the dollar bins, and I need filler at the end for that final volume. Then I might stick these in at the end just for completeness. There's also Suicide Squad went 1 through 66, plus an annual, plus the Suicide Squad Doom Patrol special, and of course the JLA crossover, the double-sized Secret Origins book, and I would include the first 6 issues, Legends 1 through 6. So that's a good bit of material. There's also a while back, DC did they did publish an issue 67 of Suicide Squad where there were a bunch of dead characters were coming back at the time anyway. That can be had in dollar bins too. So I might throw that one in as well. And then maybe these 8 issues. Not sure. but they could be. I mean, I love this is what makes this include a potential inclusion is the Ostrander writing, because he of course wrote the original series, and the Pena artwork is excellent, Pena and Riggs. So it's not so much that I'm not really into the actual content in here. It's just I just hate slick paper. I really do. It's hard for me to even articulate why. I don't like the way it shines in the light. I don't like the tactile feel of it. But this is good stuff and could warrant inclusion. And then the final thing I picked up at Ides was not from the dollar bin. I actually went down there to grab this because I had this as a kid, and I saw some mention of it on the internet a few weeks ago, and it's been in the back of my head to grab it. So I went down and grabbed this near mint copy from the back issue bins down there. I said there's some of the most complete back issue bins you're ever going to find in a comic store. And so this one will definitely be one I would like to cover in a future episode of the show. It's a Tom DeFalco story with Arvell Jones and Sam De La Rosa artwork. So the artwork is solid, the story is good, and it ties into some great stories. And of course, it features Giant Man, Bill Foster Giant Man, one of my favorite characters, also known as Black Goliath. Very cool. Cap shows up. MODOK's in it. You gotta love MODOK. Great here with Giant Man manhandling MODOK's massive head. Pretty cool. And then pretty awesome backup story. Probably should have led with this one because this one is tremendous. It's Alan Weiss scripting and penciling and Jim Sherman inking and coloring. What if the Beast had truly become a beast? And I love this story. It is really cool. And the Alan Weiss, Jim Sherman artwork in this one is just phenomenal. Look at that angel. Look at that blue costume. Oh, it's so good. Blue and white costume. And just lovingly rendered by these two guys. Just totally awesome. And yeah, this is definitely one that stuck with me as a kid, and I want to cover it. Beast going savage. And a great ending to this one, too. A lot of these what ifs have really terrible endings. Sad, just bitterly sad. Our first two stories in this one both have happy endings, which is nice. And awesome. Giant Man joining the FF, totally awesome. Ben Grimm being cured, I mean, just great stuff. The Beast, even though he can't reclaim his intellect, winds up at peace in the Savage Land with Kazar. Just totally great. And a lot of these are real Debbie Downer stories, but the first two in this one are great. And we get a third story by David Anthony Kraft, no less. Great old Defenders writer. Mike Vosberg, solid Marvel penciler, and Steve Mitchell, inker, great inker. And I love their Watcher. And this is what if Galactus had turned the Silver Surfer back into Norrin Radd. So it's kind of a cool story following, instead of just imprisoning Silver Surfer on the Earth, Galactus takes his power cosmic back and he's stuck as Norrin Radd. But he's not imprisoned. So he's going to go back to Zen-La and try to find his old love, Shala Bal, I believe is her name. Great artwork here. Very cool. And we have just almost in Gift of the Magi-like fashion, Shala Bal agrees to become the Herald of Galactus. And this cool look of this Norrin Radd making his way through space with Reed Richards technology. Oh, great ad for the Dark Crystal. Saw this in the theater as a 12-year-old kid. It was awesome. And yeah, there's going to be some pathos here. So this one's not going to probably be a happy ending. But yeah, this is this was fun too when it came out. This was What If number 37. What if the Beast and the Thing continue to mutate? Picked it up in the Ides back issue bins for $5. Well worth it. I'm gonna love reading through this one and then sharing it with you folks on the channel eventually. So yeah, that was my my brief bit of dollar bin diving for today, and I think if you folks like this kind of thing, let me know in the comments, and I'll share some more. I usually make at least one trip to a store to look at dollar bins a week, depending on my schedule with work and everything. But this was a good one, fruitful. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoy the show, please like and subscribe, tell your friends, and I'll bring you more later. This has been Scott Reads Comics.